Hello everyone, I'm Xiao Gang. Okay, let's do a quick test. Obviously, you set a breakpoint and the second phase is right here, right? No problem at all. So next, we'll start building this commercial architecture. First, let's close these. Then we go to our client. Note that we'll be jumping back and forth here. So when I operate on which side's file, I must make it clear to you. Actually, you'll see I already have 4 VS instances open. One VS instance can take up dozens of GB. 10 GB or 20 GB is quite normal, so everyone should have at least 32 gigabytes of RAM, preferably 64 gigabytes. If you're doing commercial project development, if you're just learning, actually, it's fine. If you don't have this Unreal Engine, just watch me do it once. Do it, just understand the process, because in actual development, you won't be asked to write the server side. Okay, then let's come over here. This is our entire sale response request. Now, we need to further organize the data for this request. Right here in this request. When we request data, we want it to be like this. That is, it should have this structure. That is, we want it to be wrapped in one layer. So we also adopt a primary and secondary architecture. Because only by wrapping up this agenda in this way can we conveniently have a primary service and a secondary service. The primary service is only responsible for information transmission. The secondary service is the actual information. It's really a bit dry here. Let me first explain the strange monster to everyone. So actually for each request, we'd better change this name. Let's change it. We'll change it later. Here we need to change it to simple request. Actually, not changing it won't have much impact. Let's not change it. So each request will have a piece of data that indicates what this request is type and also includes what data you need to pass in this request. So this is the data to be sent. So this is a struct. Then we have another struct. This struct is the data struct. The data struct Y, and this data struct has a characteristic. That is, this is an interface. It needs to verify whether this thing is usable. Then we need to take the simple server response and copy it over, okay, for consistency on our side. Let's change this name. To make it look better, let's change the name. Let's change the name here too. For this name, we'll just call it this constructor. Let's change this constructor as well while we're at it. Good. So is this data? Let's compile it now. Let's see what the problem is. None. This place is reporting a lot of errors, right? Let me check what errors it's reporting here. It's because of this reason. We can continue to take a look. We need to change the structure here. Let's check again. So, generally, don't rename things casually. If you rename things casually, it's easy to miss some places that weren't updated. Then everything will report errors. Okay. It didn't scan this place. We can ignore it for now. I'll pause over there. I'll restart it to let it color the text. Okay, after a series of refreshes. After opening the project and regenerating it, it finally works normally. Then this data will be forwarded and placed here. We demonstrated this to him. We demonstrated it to him when requesting the connection. Then, at this point, we prepare our actual requests data. This one is relatively simple. I just pasted it over. Let me explain it to him. It inherits from this. First of all, it definitely inherits from this. And it's called Zhaogang check vision record data. And it has a colligation. And for this colligation, we gave a default value of 1.00. Then is it available? The enumeration we return, or this enumeration, if this is empty, we consider this data invalid, then false. Just like our local verification, it is wrong. Then this data is not valid. So in this case, if it is not empty, we consider it correct, proving that it has read the data. Right, let's assume that. Then this is the data we need to send. This data will be converted into a review and placed here. Then this thing will be converted into a review and sent out. Okay, this part is quite complex. Let's compile it again to make sure there are no issues. Okay, so let's go back here. Go back here. Now that we have such a data structure, then we go into our subs client self system. So in this WeChat, we will have a lot of work to do. In these 7 WeChats, we have adjusted many things earlier. So here we are. First, we need to process this information. First, we need such a struct. Such a piece of data. We take this data, it's client vision. We need to read our in-city. That is the session in our editor plugin. After reading, we use the JSON converter, convert it into JSON data. This is the data we need here. We need to include the JSON converter, a converter like JSON converter. Include it like this, because we need this JSON. So this is a JSON, then we wrap this JSON with an outer layer. So we wrapped it inside this. You see, how do we wrap it? Here we first we declare this request. Declare this request. Then we bind this uObject. Then before binding the uObject, we declare a request struct. You see the struct should be this one. For our requests, we will all use this struct. This is the data of the struct we requested. The data of this struct only has 2 parameters. Its first parameter is obviously the type we passed in. Then its second parameter is this. Its data. Its data is the struct we passed in. The data is the struct we passed in. Of course, you can also do some encryption and decryption. We didn't do encryption or decryption. That's because we will do it later. We can't layer too much at once. We'll introduce it bit by bit. This difficulty level is better. Then, at this point, we take this data. We take the actual data and convert it into our JSON. This is equivalent to setting up the first level. It is equivalent to the data of our current second level service. It is already prepared. We are now preparing the data for the first level service. And this data is the data we actually need to send. So this is where we actually need to send the data. Okay. Then there is no problem. Also, note that we set a header here. So we want to give it a header for Gaogang's login server. As for this header, we need a node-specific token. That is, didn't we reserve a field for you earlier? Actually, we can skip writing this for now. Let's not write this for now. Let everyone get this token sorted out without encryption first. Then let's keep this part as is for now. Keep it for now. So this way, we have performed this sample first and second level encapsulation of our data. After completing this first and second level encapsulation, then on the server side, we will be able to receive this data. We'll go to the server side to receive this data in a moment. Okay, in our next lesson, we will write this code on the server side.